the story of Mama Hummingbird and her two beautiful babies. She made a nest in the vines underneath the entryway to our house. There's the nest with two little eggs the size of coffee beans. You can see how she surrounded the nest in spider webs with lint and little pieces of soft materials that she fills in when there's any holes. There's the babies, just a few days old. A couple days later, we got video of Mama feeding the babies for the first time. They were hungry little babies. It seems like every 20 to 30 minutes she was feeding them. And look how handsome Mama is. She has beautiful, bright ruby-colored spots on her chest that is surrounded by white fur, a little bit of tan further down her body, and her back is a bright emerald green color, very typical of the hummingbirds that we've seen here in San Juan Capistrano, California. Notice the pollen on Mama's beak. She feeds the babies that pollen combined with regurgitated bugs and nectar. And those babies are hungry. Look at her shoving that all the way down their throats. It's amazing that she doesn't poke their little tiny chests with it. Look how small that nest is getting to be as time goes on. It's time to start flapping our wings, get some practice for a flight, which would happen probably about a week and a half after this video here. Both babies are exercising those wings. You can see the bird on the left has a little bit more of the white pin feathers. We figured that baby was probably the second to hatch, probably a day or so afterwards, and it looks like he's just about to lose those feathers. You can see them just about falling out there. Now what goes into babies must come out. And hummingbirds are very clean birds. They don't like to put their excrement in the nest. As you can see, they're shooting it out of the nest, and you'll see all the little bird poops on the leaves surrounding it. Time to exercise the wings again, and you can notice that the babies increasingly with every shot seem to be getting bigger and bigger, and it's hard for two birds to fit in there. And this morning that we saw them, it was time for one of them to leave, and it was Sister Bird. The next thing we knew, baby boy was all by himself. Never fear though, we found Sister in the garden, the other end of the garden on a branch, calling to Mama, and Mama would come feed her. But for now, since baby brother was all by himself, it was time for Mama just to feed him. Though Mama had gathered enough food for two babies, not just one. And baby brother, he was, at this point, obviously not hungry for everything that Mama had to give. Baby's just not hungry. No matter what angle Mama seems to try to feed him from, he just does not want any more to eat. Are you sure you don't want anything more to eat? Baby says, no, I don't think so, Mama. It's going to be my turn to fly soon. And by that evening, early evening, it was going to be time for the not hungry baby to fly. One last try. Nope, okay. And baby ended up flying again that early evening, about a foot, but still in the vines underneath our overhang. That's where he spent all night. The next morning, he did fly, about 2 feet down, to my son's fishing rod. He's trying to figure out where to get food from, but never fear, Mama was here. We discovered that the babies have a very unique chirping sound that they make, unlike anything else, any other sounds from hummingbirds, and that way Mama could find him. And she ended up feeding him for probably about 2 or 3 days after they had flown. We would see them in the bushes, but we'd also hear them chirping. The baby's looking all around, sort of puffs himself out a little bit. And then it was time for him to fly. We found him a few minutes later out in the garden on a Mexican sage branch, and Mama found him too, making sure that he was able to gather the food on his own. She also would show him how to gather from all the flowers around here, as you can see. Baby still isn't hungry. And there they are, Mama and her 2 babies, and they would continue to fight at this point over all the hummingbird feeders that we had in the garden. What a wonderful adventure it was, and it still is.